Midweek Monitor. I'm Rashawn Biddle. Here are the top 4 stories that you need to pay attention to this week and going into the weekend. First, in Indianapolis, as we told you a few months ago, the Mind Trust, a group that's led by former Indianapolis Mayor Bart Peterson, is looking to hand over the city's largest school district and the state's largest school district, Indianapolis Public Schools, to the mayor of that city. Basically, bring mayoral control to that district. Well, as you can imagine, that has not been received very well by the district and its longtime superintendent, Eugene White, who has presided over what has been the worst performing school district in the nation and in the Midwest outside of Detroit, and hasn't been really considered by the state legislature. But that can change this week, thanks in part of what's happening. Eugene White, the superintendent, is now proposing his own overhaul. That includes bringing in 4 appointed members instead of having all 7 members being elected. And also as well, sort of what the Mind Trust has called an administrative reshuffling that essentially would give principals some additional power to run their schools on their own, but really doesn't change very much. As you can imagine, of course, school reformers aren't too pleased with the White proposal, and there'll be more of it as White brings it out in mid-March. But the part about this is that you can expect a reception from the governor, Mitch Daniels, who's outgoing. You can expect that Superintendent Tony Bennett, one of the state's leading school reformers, one of the leading school reformers in the nation, won't buy into this plan that White is proposing. And so what that means is that the state legislature has a few more weeks to decide to actually pursue a reform plan of it and actually bring mayoral control to Indiana. It'll be interesting to watch. Also, as well, there's the issue of pensions. Look in all these states. After all, we got $1.4 trillion in public pension deficits and unfunded retired employee liabilities. Well, we got to look at this and look at what's happening in Maryland, where Governor Martin O'Malley is trying to shift more than $270 million in pension costs to the county level, to county school districts. Well, as you can imagine, the counties are not too happy about it. The school districts aren't too happy about it. And, of course, and the teachers union isn't too happy about it either. Also, as well, what's happening in Illinois, Governor Pat Quinn is proposing to shift $92 million and actually cut $92 million out of the costs that the state subsidizes for health care benefits for retired teachers. Well, you can imagine that's not going to go down too well in that state either. And meanwhile, read this report from the education sector on the conditions of reform, the legal conditions for reforming pensions in 4 or 5 states, including California and Illinois. It's an interesting read. You should pick it up. Also, as well, look down in Georgia, where last year the state pushed to allow a state agency to authorize charter schools. Well, that got shot down by the state Supreme Court because it violated the state constitution's push for local control, that only school districts can authorize charters. Well, the state is coming back with a proposal to basically propose a state amendment. This amendment would, if passed in November, would allow the state to actually authorize charters. As you can imagine, school districts aren't too happy about it, neither are other players in education traditionalists and, of course, the Democratic Party in that state. Finally, look at what's going to be happening in Adelanto, California. As we've been reporting at Dropout Nation, there has been a battle between the parents of the Desert Trails Elementary School and the school district there. The school district has been running that school into the ground. It's one of the worst in the nation, and actually one of the worst in California in terms of school and student achievement and student performance. Well, the parents there are trying to use the parent trigger law to take over that school and overhaul it. Well, as you heard last week, the school district rejected the effort, saying that 97 of the signatures had been revoked by the parents themselves as part of a drive by the teachers union, by the NEA affiliate there, and some other groups. Well, now this week, the Parent Power Group at Desert Trails Elementary, along with Parent Revolution, the group that's helping them out on this effort, they're alleging that there was fraud, that basically the teachers union had engaged in in a whole bunch of misinformation. It's going to be interesting to watch because, after all, what we're learning is this. You got to play rough, you got to play brass knuckles, and really really go hard to push for reform at the grassroots level. Now, read the Dropout Nation read the Dropout Nation pieces this week. Also, listen to the Dropout Nation podcast on politically powering school reform. This is Dropout Nation. I'm Rashawn Biddle. You have a great day.